We'll call the meeting to order at 7:04. All right, financial reports. So these are the December reports. You had included and kindly emailed to everyone. So I would ask if anyone has any questions, if they raise them, and then if they don't have any questions, Nicole, if you'll give just the briefest of highlights, that'd be great. We're halfway through the year, so. On the reports, yeah. And
you want to start with questions, or?
You want her to go?
Yeah,
well, it's actually a minor question. It's on the Fund 9 detail. First item, banner pole fees. We have $300 in revenue and we spent $1,360. What's the?
That's a revolving.
Okay. But they haven't been paid. Okay. I just didn't know if we were losing money by hanging banners or. Okay.
Oh, that banner fee. Okay,
All right.
got it.
Thank you.
Nicole, we're holding $2,176,000 as the ARPA money. When does that get paid out? Or has it been paid out?
We paid out, we're paying out about, usually somehow we've been paying it all along. I haven't reimbursed the general fund with that money yet.
But it is the case that those dollars have been allocated to various projects, but the dollars haven't all been distributed yet. In terms of our cash reserve, to what extent have they been invested in reasonable interest bearing accounts yet? Some, small.
that's a treasurer question, but
I mean, I'll show here, just so that I have these and, cash
I saw some of them.
and then the 11 million is in a high interest account, near a sales system, it's not here. I don't know off the top of my head, but once in December, we got 20 grand in interest on the account.
20 grand, 11 million,
I don't know.
20 times 12.
Several million in there.
so the issue is you have $11 million constantly, forever, right? So if we needed it in a year, the $11 million is something that we need to think about how much we can actually invest at a longer term rate. So because we don't use that $11 million in any one given time. So that's what we had asked the treasurer to kind of think about, and we haven't really made any progress in terms of recommendations and that
Because
sort of
that's
thing.
really the general question. We're waiting to ask that.
Yeah.
If we have 11 million or more dollars, and we're not investing it
At 4% for two-year treasury.
At the best rate of
Yeah.
return we can without impairing our liquidity.
Right.
And splitting it up.
We're wasting
That-
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could we, I don't remember since I've been on Board of Finance for 2 years now, or whatever it is, having him come and give us a report on how the money's invested.
I think
Is that something we could probably have someday?
yeah, so we did have some back and forth via email about
Right.
it. Now, by statute, it's restricted in terms of what you can invest in, but
I would expect.
there's some latitude there.
Yeah.
It's not like we can do in Orange County and do derivatives. Or
I'd have a hard time
all the money.
recognizing him on the street, and I think he's been in office for 5 years, 4 years.
So we can.
In the past, the treasurer would come periodically and give us the status. I don't
Well,
mean
we
it
had-
all.
we- when Tim was treasurer,
But we had
he-
John Beisko, we had
Yeah.
B. McLean, we had a number of.
And we had the
And
same.
it'd just be nice to maybe once a year
Yeah.
get a quick update.
We had a similar issue with Beisko as well, when we were making like 15
Right.
grand on $9 million at that point.
And-
And it prompted some action.
Yeah.
And we did have some results.
And I
So
don't
will-
remember a lot of conversation in the past about it, but maybe we could just,
Yeah,
I
I'll
would
ask-
pay more attention if I had a guide.
I'll ask Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. So Nicole, any major highlights, any other questions that people had when they reviewed, or?
This is a busy time for them right now. Everything, yeah.
And then we said I get the road, that approved section.
That was approved, so it was, yeah. Yep. Police related, that's usually what we, a consistent question about. Probably in the same spot as last month, ranger related, right?
Right. Somewhat police related, I know we have a new recruit that's going to, is he going to Meriden, or I heard there's now one in Norwich? Okay. I just saw something that Norwich opened a academy as well. Right.
There's a reasonably robust class that came out of Meriden, I think. Most recently, they graduated in this class with 9 folks, which was the largest class that I've had in a while.
How many, David?
9.
9.
That's large.
It is. Everything's relative. Yeah.
Nicole, on the reval fund, there's 209,000 about. Reval's usually north of 300. We're getting into the physical reval, this coming reval, so.
Yeah, she quoted me, or she said to me that things would be about 250.
Really?
That based on quotes from what other towns.
Okay,
I
yeah.
have to tell the brother that I sit down there again and talk about it.
I think it used to be pretty darn.
When does it start, Tim? Does it bridge, will it bridge our
I
budget
think
years?
24 will be getting pretty close to having to remit something. It might be progress payments, and maybe 25 will be another opportunity, but
Yeah.
if it's 50,000 more, well, that's a lot better than if we had to get up toward 300.
41 grand less, yeah. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Great. Old business, Swan Brook Outlet.
I was hoping to report that they were down there for the last 2 days.
It's a holiday yesterday, Tim.
But the fellow who runs the machine came down with flu and pneumonia, so we're going to have to default to later in the month. We have to wait for the tides, and we had the perfect situation with low tide at midday, so you could get time before, time after for this whole week. Nice temperatures. The hydrant at Swan Avenue has been rigged up with the meter and everything, so we're ready to go. But then a call Monday, he's on the DL, so we get him past pneumonia, and we're probably looking at the end of the month to try it again with favorable tide cycle. Hopefully it won't be horrible weather.
Todd delivered an excavator this morning.
Oh,
Excavator.
oh,
The machine, the big digger.
oh, Todd?
Mhm.
'Cause he was told not to bring the hose because of the...
It's not a hose, it's a machine.
I
It's a
understand.
digger.
Maybe it's just moving it there rather than making another move.
Until we get the excavation out.
Like 3 times.
And he delivered a machine. I'm just a messenger. I don't shoot the messenger.
See if you come back to another meeting.
Check on that, all right.
Other old business, Nicole, you had sent, or you forwarded a letter from White Sands Beach about the pump, I think they'd spent $11,000 and it was unclear whether they're looking for reimbursement and he wanted to maybe show up to a meeting
I
or,
think they want reimbursement, but I'm not sure when.
yeah.
You may have gotten it, I don't think the rest
He
of it.
wanted to come.
Oh,
and talk.
it could be the selectmen and then they,
I don't remember seeing it, so I think maybe Dave got it and not the rest of them and the select.
And the selectmen.
yeah.
And I told him if he was going to do it soon, because we had 6,000 in the budget. And
Right.
next year, I don't know that we're going to have 6,000 in the budget.
But subsequent to that email, he didn't reach out or anything.
No, and he didn't give me a time frame or really give me any feedback, so.
And we don't even know if they they spent the 11 grand that was noted in the email,
I
or?
don't think he did.
It felt like he did,
But I
but,
don't know if they were coming for reimbursement. I can't imagine they're not, but just a heads up
yeah.
to you. It might be-
Well, remember he put in 1.5 horsepower motors versus the half, and they were sizably more expensive.
Right.
Yeah,
And if they got wiped out with the sand in the water and stuff, price of poker's up. So, and I don't know, I guess anytime the beach is overrun with seawater and it picks up sand and goes into the drain, the pumps are at jeopardy. But I guess no matter how high they are, if they're stuck in the sand, they're gonna get damage to them, so.
yeah. All right,
I had one other thing under old business.
Jude, yeah.
About the tree commission, were they invited to come to this meeting?
Now, we're gonna talk to them at our meeting,
Okay,
and I think if she minds her P's and Q's, she may have enough in her budget this year to do that.
got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tim and I
Didn't
talked about that,
know
yeah.
if I should be calling her or someone else or what.
Now, we'll get her to come to Selectmen's meeting.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's it.
they lost a huge branch. Did you see the DeCamillo's?
I chopped it up for them. Yeah, they were without power for 5 days.
Yeah.
Actually, they were like one of two houses in Old Lyme, so the Eversource activity throughout the town, trimming a lot of dead trees and stuff is, I think on the big map, Old Lyme looked pretty good compared to other places.
Yeah.
I know people don't like the trees being removed, but it pays off for reliability.
Yeah. Further old business, assignments. So we had assignments in December that have been refined. Jude, I made note to Michelle about switching and also
Okay.
to Kim for open space.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on assignments? People looking to change or feeling? Okay, good. All right, new business. Budget overview.
Do you want a chair, Nicole?
No, I'd rather stand.
Okay.
So Nicole, you had two things that you forwarded. You had capital projects, and then you had the budget overview itself, which was a single page, right?
Yes, I got better copies for everything.
Oh, great.
So,
Thank you.
that helps. So I gave you the capital, and
Capital, consumer fund, okay.
You get one.
Thank you.
You got one?
And do I have another? No. There should be more. There's more things. There's a single page as well as.
The multiple or the capital? Yeah. Thanks.
everybody have it?
That list is longer. You want to share it all? Here,
No,
you-
I'm good. I printed it off.
Okay.
I just put it on 8.5 hours. All right.
So I just want to say that this is a real, probably the most preliminary budget presented. There's a lot of issues with payroll. There's about 67 departments that have put in for different hours or different rates. And I don't think the salary committee got anything. I didn't know you guys were meeting, so I didn't prepare anything for you. So you guys, I don't think, had that. And then, there's some missing steps and grades, because we don't have anything at this time. So the payroll is subject to change. So I'll just say that on the outset. But if you look at the green highlight at the top, the 23-24 preliminary budget, and the difference in the middle column is the difference. You'll see the increase is $321,640. As for what I've estimated now, which is less than 1% increase. But I want you to note that there's been no change to the school district
See that?
either.
Yeah.
And I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's heard where they're going with that, so.
They're starting tomorrow night, by the way, so we've got, or second. Okay. That's right. It was 45 minutes of the drivers that everyone has heard for a long period of time, and then
I did hear maybe an enrollment shift from Old Lyme to Lyme, that there may be as of right now, I guess the number's on October 1st and December 1st. That's what Alan from Lyme said. He's
October and
concerned.
April.
I know that's when
They look
the
at.
hard number is, but October 1st and either December or January 1st,
Right,
not that that has any meaning,
calendar year-wise,
April.
what you're talking.
but
Yeah.
the preliminary is that they're
It's moving
maybe-
against line.
It's moving against line. That's what he said.
So that
Alan's chairman
percentage will
of the
change.
line board of finance. So, I don't know what he has seen that we haven't.
So,
Sneak a few more.
so Martha,
across the line.
tomorrow is the second meeting, that's right, and then,
Tomorrow is really 98% of the budget.
right, so they have 2 meetings for 82% of our budget. So there's that. But, so they should be finalized tomorrow. There's always a contingency, right? It could be one more meeting, potentially, depending.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah. So tomorrow night, we'll have a better idea of at least
Well, we
the,
won't vote on it. Well, we might vote on it tomorrow night, but
Sure, why not?
realistically, if not tomorrow, then it would be next Wednesday.
right, so we're 9 days away from,
A better
8
number.
days away from having a better number. So,
So I can go over just, again, down below are just some of the drivers. Payroll
Sounds like
on the
Board of Ed.
left-hand side. Down below is the capital, that's just the changes, that's why I gave you the details, so you can look at the capital at your leisure. And then just for the rest of operating, that's in the middle in the right-hand corner. You can look at it and ask questions, or I can go through it, or just the large stuff.
Can we ask those questions? Well, I guess we don't have another, as we start our budget.
well, why don't we take just a couple minutes and people can go through line item by line item.
Okay.
And then Nicole can answer any questions that folks have. A lot of it is immaterial, so,
Right.
how is WPCA going down?
Yeah, that's,
Legal.
Not that they started,
Yeah, I'm like,
it has
what?
to do with, you know,
And
where they are
project
in their
consult.
plan or progress.
That doesn't sound like progress. So some are increases to old line items like health insurance. Bless you. And then we've got Gateway Committee, for example, which I think was 0 last year or minimal. And now that's 45 grand. So,
Yeah, Matt asked about.
no, really? Not Matt Ward, right?
Reporting what that,
What is this Soundview trailer operating cost?
That toilets.
Restroom,
Are we getting toilets? No, but just the operating cost for what's there?
wedding trailer maybe. This-
Okay, I thought maybe, but I wanted to ask.
capital, they have 100 grand to buy
Okay.
a trailer.
Got it, and then that's operating cost. Got it.
And they think it's gonna be 32,000 extra a year to operate that.
Well, maybe the Rangers can help with that.
so that's over and above, because typically it's about 7 grand for,
It's
Right,
not that
and
much.
so I think, when I looked at it just the other day, I think it might be double counting cleaning.
Okay.
I think they might have it in their regular budget and it's 32
yeah.
as well, so I've gotta go back, I gotta wait on an answer from Pat Bilardo on,
Okay. I don't remember what RST is.
resident state trooper.
Okay, contract. He's, okay.
And I
Wow.
reduced that just based on what we paid
Okay, great.
last year for
Yep.
Matt Weber.
Thank you.
On the insurance, have we got any preliminary percentage from our insurance people?
I got a estimate of between 5 and 10, so I went with 8%. Although I'm still waiting to hear from you, Tim, to know the percentage contribution for employees. I still have everyone at 18%. So if you want to change that, you gotta let me know.
Visiting nurse, is he down because they're generating an income?
I don't know. I mean, they provided that sheet and,
I'm supposed to meet with her, so I'll
Okay.
talk about it.
I mean,
Okay.
they've kept the same amount for
Yeah,
years.
but now it's gone down?
Maybe even charged more in those years. I don't know.
Okay, well, there's nothing down.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I will ask Sarah about that. Thank you.
Yep.
I guess this is a great guide when we get our book.
Yeah, I like this.
And so, as it
Wonderful.
usually is.
It's-
But maybe, yeah, because we haven't used it as a tool in the past, we've just
No.
been buried
Yeah,
in the weeds.
slogging through it.
I usually use this for the Board of Selectmen meetings.
We like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, to go over, so.
So if we can all just keep these handy at the front.
I like it.
I think it'll guide our
Yeah.
conversations and move things along a little
At
bit.
least this will tell you where
Yeah.
Where the changes.
Yeah.
downs are.
Yeah, it's
good.
kind of 10 major things, so.
It's wonderful, thank you.
Yeah.
But if we stayed at a 0.81% increase, that would be nice for next year.
Yes.
Did it say?
There's a lot of stuff that's put
The
in.
8.81 doesn't have the right denominator.
Yeah.
At all.
Plus, no one has come in
Negative transfer
underneath
out.
yet. Right.
Last year, we had 160 transfer out of public works capital fund because for the loader, which is like.
I mean, the transfer, you mean from the year before?
No, meaning,
from the fund.
capital fund for just public work equipment. And we
Okay.
fund money in there
Right.
to do whatever gets approved on the budget.
Yep.
And in the year we're in now, he transferred in 160,000 for a loader, a John Deere loader.
So by transfer, you mean from the capital fund? A transfer from the capital fund?
No, to the capital fund.
To
from
the
general-
capital fund.
to the general fund. So,
Okay.
and then in the budget he's putting forth next year, it's only, he only wants to buy like 60 grand worth of stuff. So that transfer has changed. And it would make sense, it's all in the capital.
Okay.
The capital is broken down, first it is just general government capital, and then the back page, you'll see the capital project fund. Where like we put money away over the 6-7 years to save up for a big plow or something
Right.
like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So even though those are separate funds and not part of the budget, I still want you to approve what we're transferring in there.
Okay. Got it.
White Sands, their fiscal year is May 1st to April 30th.
No, it's strange.
All right, that's a hassle.
Right. Part-time, 20,000, right?
No.
IT part-time?
No, that was one of the issues that I have with what you gave me. Tom kept that in there. That was for a part-time tech person, not him.
Oh,
And so he kept it in the budget, and you didn't. No, he kept it in, and he took it out. So there's a lot of issues that have to be resolved in payroll.
so his budget of 50 stays, or thereabouts, and then this would be an additional IT resource?
Right, but you'll see, it used to be under contracted services, so the 20 grand is over in the mill column as a subtraction, and it's over in payroll as an add, thinking it would be an employee instead of an outside vendor.
Got it.
41 grand.
No.
Now, the 20 and the 20.
IT
20 and the
minus
20.
Yeah, so this 20 is going to offset the 20 here. It's just a different categorization of it.
Okay, is that all that was left of kind of the roof money? I thought it was a little bigger than 20.
It wasn't, well, we had
Going
put in the
back.
budget before Tom
Yeah.
hired, so you can probably back me up on that. Before Tom was hired and the thing was, the position was combined.
Right.
We thought we'd need something just for IT,
Right.
which may be the case. So that was in there for a different,
So this 20 could help with his 50 if we had to, try to take some load off him IT-wise or facility-wise or something.
well, his 50 is still in there. under
Yeah.
facilities.
We had that discussion on salary meeting.
Yeah.
May not want to be so specific. Okay.
Since we didn't have all the information.
I did.
Seems like he's
not-
gonna be focusing on.
I just want to make sure somebody got it.
Okay.
There's a story there.
Anything else?
Nope,
The details or?
I'm good.
You have all the details.
No, I'm good.
It's
Right.
Put together in the binder. So I will do that, and I will, hopefully do that next week, and so I'll try to get them to you guys by next week. So you want to pick it up, or I can deliver them over to you, wherever you are, your house, or wherever.
What's this report? Oh, the books you made?
You should just leave them here, we can take.
Yeah, we can pick them up. Yeah, we'll pick them up.
Yeah,
On Monday night for the meeting anyway. Is that here or at a
Some
school?
people don't pick up their binder, like the chairman last year. I have the number.
I'll pick it up and leave
It was
it. in the
heavy.
office.
Oh,
heavy.
He's clairvoyant. He doesn't need it, right?
I'm clairvoyant.
He's
So,
trying to
yeah.
save paper.
Annual meeting is here,
Monday night,
next Monday, is that right? Is it, or is it across the street?
right here. Okay. If they're here Monday, I'll grab them. If they're later in the week, that's fine too.
next Monday?
Yeah, they come annual meetings here. It's not important. I go by here twice a day.
Is your annual report?
They'll be piled up. Yeah.
Do is get-
Talk to you after,
Annual report.
Maria's done.
It is, yeah.
I was.
But, I mean, it was like a vortex of time. So, Tim, salaries, we need some follow-up from
Yeah.
our preliminary conversation that we
Yeah.
had with Nicole's input now. So, but we've got 2 weeks to deal with that.
And probably the capital committee too.
Yeah. Yeah.
This sheet got it pretty well mapped out, but
We've got time on capital. Salaries is the
yeah.
first meeting, so. And if we can shoot to get that done in the next week or so, that'd be most helpful to Nicole for the binders, so.
Yeah. Well, maybe before you all go, Andy, we can talk about times.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
We still on new business?
We can be.
I've had a number of people come up to me around town who are concerned about, even though our town budget tax increase is minimal, but they're asking about tax abatements. My question is, when was that formula established and the process? Maybe that should be revisited, especially with the...
About the ARPA tax?
No, I'm talking about senior folks or
Right,
people with
right.
just...
Or individuals.
Individuals, asking for an adjustment in taxes. And I seem to remember there is an application or something, if you're under a certain income, you could apply. If you're
Remember
disabled,
Governor Lamont, during COVID, put out a couple of options for towns to
Yep.
reduce, but it was on delinquent taxes more than...
I remember that in scheduling of payments.
I'm-
We're asking if there's any sort of relief they can get now that they're going to be facing a few more $100s a year in taxes. And they're struggling now.
Tax abatement policy other than the standard permitted ones, you know, if you start opening the door...
Oh, I'm not saying, I'm just asking if there is one, and have we looked at it in the last 20 years? There isn't one? If you're over 68 and you're blind and...
Age stuff and there's...
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I would call the assessor's office, they can help.
That's who can help with that? Okay, great.
That's, you know, that's very rigid, like...
Oh, I
For
understand.
the elderly and stuff.
But people are asking who they would talk to and how old
I know.
has it been adjusted,
Yeah.
especially with inflation and increase in taxes, so they're asking. So it's the tax who? Assessor?
Melinda...
Okay.
Kronfeld.
Okay, thank you.
But there's two women in that office, I think either one can help you.
Okay, Linda, and who's the other one? Mickey? Okay. At least I can direct them somewhere.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Politely. Direct them somewhere.
I'll send them your way. You'll say, just move in down here, it's okay. We'll take care of you.
Low-income housing.
Yeah, why not? Waterfront, too. No heat.
No heat,
The
right?
oil bill.
That's true.
Yeah, true.
Oh, yeah.
Sleeping bag.
Right now, the beach is on the other side of the house.
Really?
All right, any other new business from anybody? Anyone? Great. Review and approve regular meeting minutes of December 13th. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of this kind of stuff.
I'll move to approve them.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I've got a couple of comments. In the middle of page 2, assistant to the tax collector. The next words are Alex English, comma, is resigning. I think probably after the comma we would insert the phrase assistant to the tax collector, even though that's the heading we typically write it out. So add assistant to the tax collector. A couple of paragraphs down line, senior center, the last phrase, experience on working with seniors, I would delete the word on.
Yes.
And then on the top of the next page, the regular meeting minutes of October 18th, the motion sentence reads, therefore a motion was made by Mr. Russell, seconded by his daughter, Mrs. Thompson, to approve the minutes as corrected, but the prior sentence doesn't indicate any correction, so that's confusing.
Right. Reviewed for.
I think it was regarding the police invoices that it is discussed in the paragraph above. That was the question. That's why we didn't approve those minutes in November, because we wanted information back as to the timing of the invoices that came in May for the police, the vehicle equipment.
Well,
So-
that's fine, but it implies that there were words in the minutes that were changed. As corrected, the minutes as corrected.
Yeah, you're right, the minutes were not corrected, just the information.
The issue was clarified.
So we could then approve the,
Right.
yeah.
So I just delete,
As corrected.
just delete
As
as
corrected.
corrected.
Yeah.
Just delete the word as corrected.
Cool.
That's it for me.
What about the conditional up above? Mr. Birnblum inquired if this issue was resolved.
Say what?
It's actually not conditional, so it's okay. If it were
Okay,
resolved.
guys.
No, I think Liz is right.
I think was is right. All right.
They didn't change it.
Okay, we got a motion. Any other comments or questions, clarifications? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Abstentions? Great. Motion carries.
Guys.
All right. So next one's report.
All right. First up, we have the Halls Road, the RFP for engineering for the Bow Bridge and the approaches to the bridge were due back, and the bids were opened with quite a variety of prices. The company BSC, which has done the engineering for the committee on the project, the master plan and all, they came in with nearly $30,000, $430. Jacobson came in at $261 about, and AI Engineering in Middletown came in at $149.
Quite a spread.
Yeah.
Bit of variance. We're scratching our heads as to why BSC, which should have the most knowledge about the thing, came in unless they wanted to make sure they didn't get it. I don't know. The ARPA grant, I think it's $138,000 for that work is available. So the committee will meet and look at the bids, and then we'll get a recommendation. Maybe we can get them to review the bids in the next week or so the selectmen could get their recommendation by our meeting on February 6th. But if it were the 138 versus 148, if that company, I hear AI, have you heard of them up in Middletown, AI Engineering? I hear they're a pretty good outfit, so, but that'll be the first step, try to get one of those bids solidified. While we're talking about it, I know...
Tim, let me just kind of state the obvious, which is to make sure that the bids are apples to apples. The spread, it's 100%, I mean, it's 200%.
Oh, yeah.
The top one is more than 430.
Yeah, 3 times.
So I would just confirm that they're both quoting the same scope of work.
And material.
Well, actually, BSC, the high one, more or less was guiding the committee on the various things to bid on, the categories to bid on. So it'd be kind of hard to expect they didn't know.
Right. No, I would be more concerned that the low bidders are not, don't have the complete scope of work. I'd be surprised if that's true.
Yeah.
It's just a striking difference in amounts.
But basically, it's a pre-engineered bridge that's dropped in place on the abutments and some approach. So it's not like you're building a great big fancy building or something. But yeah, that'll all come into play. Senator Marks, our new senator, I guess new senators were sent out from the Capitol with bags of money that they could perhaps sprinkle around. So we have informed her of several projects that, depending on how deep the well is, how she might help us. But this engineering budget could be one that might be pretty affordable. We have other
But it's a distinct bill, though. The bill, right, is just for this project for $1 million. Is that not correct?
I'm not sure. You know more about it than I do.
$18 million in for the town's line and line. Senior center's on it, Bow Bridge is on it, Grassy Hill Bridge is on it, sewers are on it, and there's another project.
Going to hope so.
But it's a bill. It's not an allocation of the annual capital borrowings that happen, right?
It's, my understanding was it's the appropriations bill, but that each project is listed out separately for each town.
Which is better, because if it's a separate bill, there's literally 8,000 bills that are submitted. So if it's part of the appropriations bill, that's a good thing, as opposed to a separate bill for even a handful of projects. So
And she was meeting with, she has a meeting this week, I know, with Mark Falcon, because I know you've talked to him, but she wanted to know where he stood. And I will tell you that Norm Needleman has reached out to Jerry Baker about the senior center, because he would like to get that through, so he's on board with that. And what else did she tell me?
Do you have a sense of how much a senator might appropriately suggest should be funded from their district? Are they capped at some number?
I don't have any idea. And Martha's been in this job for 2 weeks, so she's getting a crash course, but she's been doing her homework and getting as much information from myself. We got information from Edie. We took as much as we could. Jerry Baker's been in touch with her, providing her with as much information to do her background stuff for the money that's appropriated. So we're just going to all now cross our fingers and pray. We won't know for a while, but at least it's in there.
yeah, so that's June.
Yeah.
Still need that.
Now, $1 million doesn't get us a 9-foot bridge on Grassy Hill, so there's that, right? It gets us like 6 feet of the 9-foot bridge.
Well, then you-
At least
Told
it's
her
safe.
that we should start getting a collection.
You put in $1 million for Gracino Bridge. Tim gave
Oh, no, I'm just kidding, orders of magnitude, like, so,
Okay, next up, Ferry Road, we had a meeting, or I and the engineer had a meeting with the residents at 11 Ferry Road, which have the vinyl fence up against our sidewalk, and they did a mea culpa. And so the engineer looked at it, and so he's thinking it through. Either they have to move it, or if there could be an easy fix, and they have you hate to leave something that's over the line in place. I know what we did in Soundview was, there was a fence that was less over, and we put a deed thing saying that when you sell your property, when you no longer, if you transfer the property or you leave the property, it'll have to be removed and put back in place. But, so we're expecting to hear fairly shortly what accommodation might be possible. If it's going to be a mess, then we'll just have to make a move it. It'll be pretty costly because each of these vinyl uprights has a concrete base and so forth. They quote did it because they wanted to avoid a tree root thing on their property, but they are aware that it's over and it's their fault. Next is the Tanamahague Landing. We had an executive session with council, and so there were some ideas put together for him to think about. We're going to do a little bit more work on possible compromise with parking down near what we call the Ice House, the little building down there. But obviously, he continues to put things on the property, and he's very smooth, but he's, velvet glove, steel hand, so, he continues to put stuff on the property. We're told by council that the road is indeed a road. He's saying, not only do we not own the land, the road is not a road. It's not on a post office map, and it's, stuff like this. So I guess we're close to the point of saying, we're not going to talk about who owns the road. We have the road. All roads in town do not own the real estate under the road. So that's not unusual. But the road is ours, and so you've got, I'd love to say this, you've got 10 days to get your stuff off our right-of-way and stop fiddling with it. And, that would put the ball in his court.
Nice editorial again in the paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He called us Putin, and he's Ukraine.
Tim, when he bought the property, he's got a legal description that probably includes the
2 parcels.
easement or right-of-way or however it's described in the legal.
His wife is this archival researcher, so she's been
Well, I know that part.
digging
We all know those parts.
Yeah, but the deed that was transferred to him, the warranty deed, right? It has a legal description in it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that hopefully, Jack probably doesn't know, but his guys have just figured out, like, has anyone surveyed?
Well, we have a survey which he calls fraudulent.
But why don't we see what his survey
We have survey from 2015.
of his property or of our right-of-way?
The entire, both properties.
Everything.
I would think.
Tin mahogany in the middle.
Yeah.
From when Diana was getting ready to sell, was preparing it to be sold.
Right.
And that was something that we looked at.
And he's just poo-pooed that existing survey or something? But hasn't offered another
What
one?
he's saying is that, okay, I bought 2 parcels, but we now believe that we own this. Now, the deed does say that you own this, and whatever right you may have with respect to the Tanamahague piece. So that's a little bit of open for him to say, well, we're still in the game.
Yeah, all right.
36-1 button ball. The Harbor Management Commission is moving ahead with a hydrographic survey of the wetland, the marsh, and hopefully the creek and all that. So we'll see what that says. We also would like to see an environmental assessment of the marsh, and I think between the two, you could talk about the fragility of the marsh, and then you could also talk about whether a dock going out somewhere into the Horseneck Creek, how wide is it at low tide? How wide is it at mid-tide, high tide? If you went in with a kayak or a canoe, is there mud most of the time? And certainly the flats are pretty muddy. I understand there's also a shoal as you join the Black Hall River. So if you took a tide cycle and drew a line when it would be suitable for small boat navigation, that would be revealing, is it 50%, 60%, 40%? So hopefully the hydrographic will kind of give us a common sense look at whether this is worth the time and effort. In talking with an engineer, there has been the concept that at the Bow Bridge, if you were to walk down from Andy's Deli, that kind of abandoned road that goes to the abutment, there has been a plan for a while that you would go into the lowlands between that road and 156 and create a bit of a boat, I don't know whether you call it a dock or a landing or something, along the Lieutenant River that would be approachable with a wooden walkway. This would be proper deep water. When the Bow Bridge is built, it could be enjoyable to paddle up, leave your kayak there, go get something at the Hangry Goose, etc. So, that would be something that they could really focus on, and that would be a much better place rather than, I think, Horseneck Creeks. But anyway, we're due to see, hopefully, the hydrographic. I guess they've been out there looking around, and so the committee has had some variance of opinion, which is healthy, I guess, and we'll see where it comes out.
Tim, isn't one of the considerations not having kayaks or any boat access, but a place to walk out and just observe and sit and
I think
check out the
everybody
environment?
would be open to that. If you were to have maybe a 25-foot...
Yeah, if one didn't work, what I've heard is perhaps just having an access to go down observation
I
deck,
think there's
a
some
little larger than what's at the end of the deck.
I think at the Smith's Neck Boat Launch or something like that.
Right.
Which would be quite pleasant.
Exactly.
And if the marsh would be determined, it would be ill-advised to have the public fishing and trapping all over that. You might put some fencing and just, here's your...
But as long as the public had access,
yeah,
that would be important.
that would be good. And I think it was stated during the committee that a dock could be built for around $15,000, and I think people in the business said you could buy about half the lumber for $15,000.
Oh, exactly.
So,
Yeah, but the permit from the DEP is probably 15.
Maybe 15 years.
We're looking at 3 years
Yeah.
when they get to it.
last, the Board of Selectmen approved a modification in the transfer station fees. Mr. Ruddy informed us that over time, the disposal costs of bulky waste and other materials that we get rid of that are not producer returnable, whatever that phrase is, really have gone up. And so our old rates were mighty low. So we increased from, I think it's $110 a ton to $150 a ton for bulky waste. Leaves, which stay on site and get processed, went up it's posted on a website. It's, other than bulky waste, I think electronics are still free. Other things like tires, we made a minor modification, but usually your tires stay with the tire place. That was, we're hoping to correct the outflow on that. So that hit in January.
I heard that the town of Stonington is distributing compost bags or compost containers for either drop-off or pickup. I don't think they pick up, but you can drop off at their waste transfer. Have we looked into anything like that?
Are you talking about these domes?
No,
Put them in your yard?
Bags that a homeowner, right now, you take your trash to the transfer station or the dump, whatever you want to call it. In Stonington, I think they pay so much a bag. Now the town has issued bags for compost material that you would take as well, and they would be separate from your regular household.
Food stuff? Well,
Not just food stuff, but I don't know.
Biodegradable, whatever.
Anything that breaks down that they can recycle somehow.
Yeah.
And I was told it was a pretty broad list, so I wondered if that's something we might look into.
The town I moved here from in New Hampshire every year used to have the town, or somehow through Parks and Rec, you could purchase, the bins that you're talking about.
Yeah, we had that for a while,
like the town would buy
many
it
years
in
ago.
some bulk rate, and I think you would buy it basically at cost from the town.
They did that many years ago, 30
To
years
basically encourage people to put a compost bin in their yard and put their food scraps in the compost instead of
This is the town, you purchase the bags, or you are given the bags, you separate your compost when you do your garbage.
There's
Say
a
you have a
giant
container in the
bin
kitchen, and you drop it off.
Well, I guess you'd have to say what then happens, because if you were to spread it around, you're going to have birds.
I don't know if they have someone that's taking the compost bag, but it certainly lightens the weight of what's going into the garbage.
But you got to pay somebody to
right.
that, which I don't know what the...
I don't know. My sister just got it. She has a new container on her kitchen counter, stainless steel trash bin that she's purchased, and then she takes it and dumps it into her plastic bag. And it gets taken to
it would be interesting for the town to look at different ways to encourage people to
that's probably the right...
to lower the weight a little bit.
Well,
that's
the DEP they've been working on these digester things.
Mm-hmm.
So you take your recycling material, including meat and other junk, and it goes into, like, say Essex had one. It would be a regional thing, which now is a trip. But you could get rid of it that way. I have one of those black things you just punt and put some leaves over.
I have one that I spin. It's a metal.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And, but, people in the beach area who don't have much of a yard.
No, I get all that. But I didn't know if it was an option for the town to collect something like that, or if it was even worthwhile.
Garden. Maybe if there was something with the community garden, being able to do something there.
We've got the recycling committee.
Yeah, we do.
We do have a recycling committee?
Yeah,
Solid waste, Suzanne Thompson looked into the...
Susan? Okay.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, okay.
I'll hear
If you would mention it to her, I'm just curious, because
It would be great.
I use the tumbler recycling or compost thing in my yard. I have a big enough yard I can do, and it's not in the way, but it's a lot of weight out here.
Yeah. That's what, Don't reinvent the wheel if somebody else is doing it,
New Hampshire, we still stuck one at the back of our 1/10 of an acre, and,
I'm just way to lower cost, and I was surprised that Stonington, of all places, was doing it, but there's a lot of farmers in Stonington.
Stonington is...
pretty progressive on it, except they don't do pickup.
But you have to be, you probably don't want stuff in plastic bags.
No, I'm sure it's a compostable
You buy
something.
special, my counter
Compostable
one.
plastic.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I have on my counter.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they'll check that out.
And if you see Suzanne, thanks.
I read the same article, but did it say it was mandatory or not?
I don't know. My sister didn't share that with me.
Yeah.
She said, guess what? I got these new bags, and I bought it.
It was in the paper.
Was it?
Yeah, a week or two ago.
I don't read the day anymore.
Tom, Tim, you can tell them too about Bay State Textiles,
The what?
the Bay State Textile bin?
Oh, we're.
I don't know if it's been installed. We did
going to-
sign an agreement with the Bay State textile people that they'll put a container at the transfer station that would take the old unrecyclable textiles. So
Carpet.
towels, and there's a whole list of stuff. So,
Okay.
once that thing is there, we can publicize it, see what happens.
Sheet.
So sheets, blankets,
That'd be it.
curtains,
Okay.
t-shirts.
But not mattresses.
No.
Oh, those go in the trailer.
No, you sell those, don't you, Dick?
No.
I know, you can't.
No, the state, they nuke them,
Oh, yeah.
and then they try to find a home for them. So,
Really?
I have some
Out of the ones that
suggestions.
go in the trailer there?
I have some
that does not go into a landfill.
Sorry, Tim, I didn't mean to interrupt that. But I was just surprised to hear that Stonington was doing
Get rid of the
something like
stain.
that. I don't know anything about it, and I should have thought of Suzanne.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's all sorts of caveats. Here we go.
The black light just... All right. All right. Anything else? Great. Motion to adjourn. Yep.
Don't get too used to it.
Mr. Russell?
Right.
Is there a second? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Bye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Great.